So you own and run a wrap shop, and you're in that moment where you're not really certain whether you should hire another employee or not. And you're struggling because you have all this work that's coming in the door, and you're just like, geez, I really could use some help. But at the end of the day, you're not really certain because you're terrified to allocate the funds and resources towards this person. I believe most of us that have scaled a vehicle wrap shop have been in this position. Frankly, anybody who has been an entrepreneur has been in this position. So today I wanted to share with you a framework or a quick little sharpen on the pencil that you could do to clarify whether you should hire another staff member or if there's some micro adjustments that you can make to just increase revenue with the same amount of work that you have, therefore not necessarily needing that individual just yet. Now, if you stick around, I'll show you how you can actually hire that additional employee for almost no expense to you. Let's dive in and let's clarify that you should always hire on data and not emotion. Frankly, you should make most of your business decisions on data and not emotion. So in order to make a decision based on data and not emotion, you essentially have to look at, does this model work? And what I mean by model is, does your offer versus your sales price and everything else make sense? And so essentially what I'm saying is does your business actually make enough money to support the additional staff member? Your business should already be spitting off enough money to actually allocate for that new hire. It's just that you, the business owner, will take a hit on the bottom line, as in you'll make a little bit less money for a small period of time until you catch that person up to speed and then therefore gain leverage on that person, and their output should generate dollars for the business, therefore increasing the bottom line again, right? So I just want to make sure it's very clear that when you hire somebody, you want to hire somebody when you already can support them. You don't want to hire just because you think that there's this next level or the grass is greener on the other side. You hire that person to get you there, but really actually it makes your business a whole lot more complicated. And so if you're not making money while also being more complicated or working towards that, there's no point. So today on a free coaching call that we did in the Wrap Shop Talk, somebody asked, I feel like I should hire somebody. And so we jumped right in. And essentially what I asked this individual, and this whole video is going to be based around these numbers, is what's your revenue currently? How are you doing in sales? And they said $140,000 or the projected revenue for the end of the year. And I said, fantastic, congratulations. And I basically went in and said, so I'm guessing that your capacity feels somewhere around one vehicle a week. And are you doing commercial or are you doing personal? And they're like, well, we're doing both and take whatever we can get. I was like, okay, awesome. What are you pricing a large truck or a mid-sized Sprinter utility vehicle? And they said around $3,500. So I basically asked a couple more questions like, does that include the roof for $3,500? And they were like, yes. I was like, okay, cool. And then are your color changes also $3,500? And they said yes, depending on the vehicle, aero, etc. For the most part, $3,500 is a good average to put there. So essentially, we took that $140,000 for the revenue for the shop. I divided it by 52 weeks, which gave me $2,692. And at this rate, we immediately see that we actually have capacity. If the full wrap job is $3,500 and the average sale for the year is $2,692, these are all theoreticals, mind you, $2,692. Then that means that we need to increase our sales because there's still weeks available. So essentially, that means that they would have done 40 vehicles for the year, and they still had enough spots for 12 more vehicles if their capacity was 52 wraps in a year, because one per week, right? A great metric to follow for your business is revenue per employee. And a lot of people I see in the forums and stuff, they say that I want to generate $100,000 per employee. And that is barely getting by. Like, there's no profit for the business to do much, and that makes these decisions a whole lot harder. You should be trying to steer close as possible to $200,000 per employee or greater to run a very healthy business. That means that the entity, the business itself, is also receiving money, because a lot of people don't treat their business as an entity. But your business has an EIN number, therefore a social security number, and they should be getting paid too. And that they're getting paid is building a bankroll for a rainy day fund, 6 months worth of bills, whatever it may be, to where no matter what the world throws at you, you don't have to make decisions where you're not able to pay your home mortgage or pay your rent, etc. To where when you are in this situation where you're going to hire somebody, it's not so scary because you've saved up, let's just say $100,000, and it's just sitting in the bank ready for you to hire that person when you feel that you're ready and you need it. Or maybe you have the rock star employee come your way and you're like, man, I really want that person, but I just can't afford them. That is why you want your business as profitable as possible, to seek opportunities to grow the business and create real careers. In this video, I've kind of generated 3 key actions that we can do to get to that point. So even though this video is about hiring, it's also about how to make the business efficient and effective to where you can get to the hiring point. Because if you're hiring and not profitable, you got other problems in the business. Let's just be honest. So frankly, if you're hiring in your business and it's not profitable, then you're just lying to yourself and telling yourself a story or creating noise in your mind that the employee that you're going to hire is going to fix your problems. But actually you have a foundational problem. So the first action in this scenario that I would take, and this is the advice that I gave this individual, was that you can increase your volume to 1 vehicle per week, meaning they're at 40 and they need to hit 52. So there's missing revenue currently in the model, and that immediately will generate more revenue for the company. So they were projected to do $140,000. However, if they did 52 vehicles, they'd be at $182,000. So it's immediately $40,000 increase with no change. There's no capacity issue. The person can already do 1 vehicle a week. So if they just fix the missing 12 units in their yearly sales, they immediately increase the revenue by $40,000. And essentially the only thing it cost you was a little bit of sales and hustle muscle. Because right now in the business, when you're 1 to 3 employees, you got to have a hustle muscle. Like, this is where you unfortunately do have to grind. I'm not a fan of the grind mindset anymore. I feel like we should be incredibly intentional, and that's why I'm sharing this information with you guys. So the second action item that I would attack within my business, if this was my business, I was 1 employee and I was at $140,000 in revenue, is if my price was $3,500, I would be curious if I could charge an additional $250. And that extra $250 is only a 7% differential. And we would actually probably see that most clients wouldn't even give you much friction on trying to pitch them on $3,750 versus $3,500, especially if you level up the customer service side of your business, where your communication is just sky high, you're delivering on deadlines, etc. And you have plenty of Google reviews, etc., to show that is exactly what you do. I'm more of a commercial wrap guy, so I speak mostly to that. I'm not a color change guy, but I do feel like this airs even heavier. This second action item airs even heavier towards the color change market. $3,500 is way too low, even if you're in your garage, because you can't hire somebody. It takes you too long to fulfill the product, and you have nothing left whenever you actually look at it, because it's going to take you several days to do that project. At least commercial, your turn can be a lot faster because it's naturally commercial. So let's say that we increased our price by $250 and we had no change, right? We're still just going to do 40 vehicles this year. So we automatically increased our revenue from $140,000 to $150,000. No changes. We're 1/4 of the way towards paying towards a new employee. Now, if we fill in the schedule and we get a total of 52 vehicles for the year, and we come up from $3,500 to $3,750, we went from $182,000 to $195,000 worth of revenue. And all you did was fill in your schedule. You're now generating that $200K revenue per employee, right? So that's the tipping point where the business should be kicking off tons of profit. Instead of robbing that business of profit, start putting in 6 months worth of savings, etc., so that once you do hire somebody, it doesn't hurt you. So action number 3 is my favorite, and it's basically, we want to reduce the friction to deliver and fulfill the product. Now, action number 2, we only get those additional 10,000, 13,000, whatever that margin is, one time. We can only raise the price to a certain level, but we can always increase efficiencies and get product out faster. We can also itemize things a little smarter to where instead of giving a combo deal out for free, we actually would say, would you like fries with that? And actually charge for these items. And Justin Pate said this in a business mastery course where he said that the salad is free, but the protein that comes with it is not. And so what I mean by this is don't give away the roof. Don't give away the mirrors. Don't give away the door handles. Create a line item for those, because door handles and mirrors are not too bad, but door handles eat up a lot of time. They eat up a ton of time, whether it be the removal of them, the installation of them, they're a high risk item, etc. And so you can wrap half or more of a side of a vehicle by the time you wrap all 4 door handles on a vehicle. So there's no reason to give that away for free. If you remove the items off the vehicle that are basically a chore, right? Like nobody wants to really do door handles. Now, obviously in the color change world, sorry guys, you guys got to do it. But basically in your case, it would be don't give away door jams. Charge $1,300 a door jam or a door and or more, depending on how you actually do it. Like I'm not a fan, so I'm not even giving advice over there. But on commercial, I charge basically $150 to do the door handles and then $100 to do the mirrors. And then the roof is an additional $300. And if the roof was solo, it would be closer to like $425, but if it's with everything else, it's $300. And so there's 260 business days in the year. You can't get any more business days, right? And so if you're a decent boss / employer and or entrepreneur, and you actually spend time with the family over the weekends, etc., if that's not your situation, totally understand, go get it. But if you have to take weekends off, there are 260 business days in the year, not accounting for holidays. Now, this particular individual had a 4-day turn on the delivery of their product, therefore generating $182,000 at $3,500. However, if they did a 4-day turn, they would then generate $227,500 and open up the possibility for 65 units in the year. Let's take a look at 3 days, 87 units, $304,500. 2.5-day turn, you can do 104 units. So as you start to decrease your time, like a commercial wrap shouldn't take any more than 2.5 business days for a good installer to do it. Now, keep in mind, this individual is by themselves. So this is an average. There's a reason why it takes them 5 days to do one vehicle, is because they're also running around doing the sale, doing the disassembly, they're doing the graphic design, subletting that out, doing the communications, all those things. So it's an average. Like, keep that in mind. It's not literally it takes that individual 5 days to do that. But if they're over the course of the year, they can do 65 units, that means that they have an average of a 4-day turn per unit. These are KPIs that you can track from the time that the sale started, from the time that you got the final payment, it's a 4-day turn or a 5-day turn or a whatever. The point is to track what your turn is and how can you reduce the friction involved in your delivery. So if you remove your door handles and mirrors and you can gain a half a day, amazing. You could split the difference between 52 and 65, right? And that's just a small tweak. And there's a huge difference in revenue there. So I highly recommend taking a peek at what your delivery is and how can you reduce the friction to where you sort of deliver it faster, okay? Now, what happens when you combine all three, right? You don't have to just pick one and just deal with it, right? You can do all three. And so basically, I'm going to put a little chart to the side here for you guys to see. But when you combine all these three actions in the math that I provided, I'm always conservative in the math that I do. And so essentially, I've listed out a 5-day, 4-day, 3-day, 2.5-day turn with a $3,500 sale price on average and a increase to $3,750. Okay, so it shows the before and after on the verses for that item. Now, I've also included that if you remove the fries and then you ask the customer, would you like fries with that? And you give them back the door handles, the mirror, and the roof, I basically put here a simple upsell of door handles, mirrors, and roof for $500. And let's just say we close half of those. Because your customer doesn't care if you wrap the door handles and mirrors. Let's be real. Like, a lot of them don't. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And so if you're giving it away for free, it doesn't matter. But for the ones who do want it and you charge them $500, I basically did math at half of each of the units. So 52 units, I divided it by half and then times 500, and that gave me $13,000. So let's just say this individual did absolutely nothing in their business other than raise the price, charge for door handles, mirrors, and roof. They would have increased their revenue from $140,000 to $208,000 for the year. And guess what? That person now no longer stresses whether they should hire somebody or not because they got enough money in the bank to do so. So that's the lesson that I wanted to drill home here. I had a totally different video planned, but I got into this, I dug into it, and I was just like, man, this is how, like, basically people need to think this way. How can we sharpen the pencil or sharpen the axe within our business to where we really can make decisions without emotion? It is scary. It's a liability. And not just that, like, it's always been more scary for me that I never wanted to onboard somebody on my team and not be able to fully commit to them. I've never hired a part-timer ever. And the reason why is because I don't want to be half committed to anybody. Because if I'm half committed to them, they're half committed to me. And I don't like to hire people for the short term either. I like to try to create a legitimate career path for people and level people up to where eventually they can be entrepreneurs themselves. And if you can just make some small tweaks, business is not a magic bullet. It's a bunch of little golden BBs, a little bunch of things that you have to change and tweak, a little 1% here, 2% there, and it will generate way more money for you. You guys are leaving money on the table and you don't even realize it. So stop leaving money on the table. Take the information I provided in this video, go run the numbers on your business and see where you're missing out a little bit, or are you giving this away for free? So this doesn't even include design fees. You know, if you add 52 units to, what is that even? I'm curious. So 35,000, I think. 52 units times $700 for design, $36,000 extra for the same 52 vehicles that are coming in. And obviously you have an expense tied to that, but it doesn't matter because there's still margin on top. And if you have issues trying to figure out what your gross profit margin is, you should take a look at our spreadsheet video that we posted up last week. I'll put a link in the comments below. And it's a freebie spreadsheet that you can go in and figure out if you're making enough gross profit margin on your jobs or not, and how to tweak those. So I hope this was helpful and beneficial to you guys. I'm very passionate about elevating the wrap industry. I struggled for a long time, even with a ton of help. I've spent well over 6 figures in personal development, even though I didn't need to because I was that stubborn. I had a mentor who gave me the whole book day one, did business with him for 8 years, and then I still went and hired, and I don't regret any of it, but I still went and hired John Duver. I still paid for all the business boot camp classes. I still hired an integrator coach. I still surrounded myself with other people because I'm just that slow to learn. And I feel that a lot of the vehicle wrap space is the same way. And if I can change and become a legitimate business owner, then so can you. And I'm passionate about trying to find the people who are willing to do so. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to us, especially right now while we're growing this channel. We need to feed YouTube as much data as possible. So liking and subscribing tells YouTube that we are for the vehicle wrap space, and that's the only people that we care to show these videos to. So hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.